Good evening, guys. Abigail Klutz here from Kansas City, Kansas. So glad you could make it tonight. It's an exciting weekend for us. We have a lot of crazy things going on. First of all, we're all very excited because our new Swiss cacao, it tastes like chocolate cake in your mouth. Not really, but it's replaced my chocolate cake in my mouth at night. That's out and it's here to stay. For so long, we were just having flash sales of it. So it's in the store along with a Mother's Day discount of 15% off. So typically we like to do these Keto 101 followed by new prover training 101s on Thursday and Sunday nights because we believe in this business that it doesn't matter what you know about ketones. It's if you can show a campfire video and get people to join you on a call where we let medical specialists and experts be the experts, and we are simply the messenger that gets them connected and gets them there. So it's a super easy way to share out this conversation. And if you're on the call tonight and you are just interested in taking ketones as a consumer or as a customer, awesome. We want to give you value and education. And then if you want to stick around and learn how you can optimize the rewards here in our community, then following Paul Carter, we're going to have another girl come on who is a former nurse, mother, former figure competitor, CrossFit athlete, and she is absolutely growing this business into something that will be around the rest of her life and legacy income. So with that being said, guys, I can't not read the bio because it's really super impressive. So who we have on the call tonight is Paul Carter, and he is a world-renowned fitness expert that's worked with professional bodybuilders, elite powerlifters, and athletes. He's written for Muscle and Fitness Magazine, Flex, T Nation, Bodybuilding.com, Muscle and Strength, Elite FTS, and Charles Poliquin. Paul has written several books, including Strength, Life, Legacy, Base Building, and co-authored the Maximum Muscle Bible this year with tips. Zoom will most likely be maxed out. Going on to the next. So anyway, that's Paul Carter. That's who we have on our Zoom call tonight. And he's going to take a little bit more of an approach for, workouts, athletes, how to maximize ketones for fat loss, things like that. And then, like I said, we have Selena Travick following after that with how to share out this conversation. So Paul has his bullets ready. I think he's used to leading 4-hour workshops all over the world. So he's got about 20 minutes to bring it at you. And in the chat screen, just ask any questions. And maybe we'll take a few minutes right when he's done to answer those for you. But go ahead, Paul.
Okay, so for anybody that was on last night, I'll recover some of the stuff that I did there. But for those who aren't, I hope that you enjoy what I'm about to go over. I don't want to bog you guys down with too much information or get too sciencey with you. I want to be able to give the information that I have for you in a way that you find relatable and that you can always give to other people. My mentor, Charles Poliquin, he once told me that people could only retain about 20% of what it is that they heard. This does not apply to women because women are like plumbers. They love digging up old shit. So anyway, so I want to get into a few things here. There's a lot of women on the call. Some are laughing, some are not. That's okay. I want to give a few things here that you guys will probably find relatable because most of the same questions come up when you approach somebody about the ketone conversation. And one of the ones that usually comes up is people will ask you, what is my body doing with carbohydrates, or what is my body doing with glucose whenever I take ketones, right? And if any of you guys have heard this question, raise your hand if you've approached people. I can see you guys. So yeah, so there's some people that have heard this. All right. So if you've heard this question, here's the deal. So there's a little bit of a metabolic shift that goes on when you ingest ketones, when you ingest exogenous ketones. because your body starts using those for fuel, and it actually does downregulate something called glucose metabolism, which is where your body burns glucose for fuel from the carbohydrates that you've eaten. So when you take the ketones, the body kind of says, I don't need to use glucose because I have these ketones and they're readily available. Now, we don't know, we can't quantify what the degree that is. And the truth is that you don't need to know. We know through science, we know through peer-reviewed studies that that's what happens. So our body is really metabolically flexible and it's very metabolically efficient. So it's going to tap into whatever fuel that it has access to that is best for the job. For example, if you ask the body to perform in a really short but powerful explosive burst, it's going to tap into something called adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP, okay? So ATP, think of something like sprinting or doing like heavyweight training and like the 8 to 10, stuff like that. Now, usually we use glucose to create more ATP, but one of the things that the peer-reviewed research ended up showing us was something I kind of thought before, is that when the ketones provide an alternative substrate for oxidative phosphorylation, so that means that it actually converts ketones into ATP as well. Now, ketones provide more ATP on a gram per gram basis than glucose actually does. It requires more oxygen to perform this process. But there's a good thing about that, is there's actually fewer free radicals that are turned over in that chemical process. So as you guys know, or probably have heard, free radicals are associated with accelerated aging. So we all want to look young and sexy and beautiful for as long as possible and stave off looking like Gandalf of the Wicked Witch of the West, as long as we can. So now that your head may be spinning, this is what I really just told you, okay? So ketones cause a metabolic shift from glucose to ketones when you take them, right? And in that shift, ketones get converted. They get used for ATP when you're exercising, but they also spare glucose. Now, here's the kicker. If you guys end up approaching someone who really wants to change their body composition, wants to lose body fat, wants to retain lean muscle mass, this is actually very cool. So follow me a little bit here. So let's say you're eating low carb. Who all here eats low carb? Who eats low carb here? You guys raise your hand. Okay, so when you eat low carb, what happens is that when you're exercising and performing whatever you're doing, your body will, when it needs more glucose, it will do something called gluconeogenesis, where it converts muscle protein or amino acids inside the muscle cell into glucose, because it still wants to use glucose, okay? So it robs the muscle of amino acids and turns that into glucose. Now, here's the cool part. When you take ketones, because ketones downregulate glucose metabolism because we have that energy substrate in ketones, that means the body doesn't need to use as much glucose, which means it also doesn't need to tap into those amino acids in the muscle. Now, what's cool about that is that when you spare amino acids like that, those amino acids are building blocks of muscle. If you're training, if you're trying to get more tone, as women always say, more tone, or if you're a dude and you're trying to get more jacked, that means you can go into a dieting state where you're hypocaloric, which means you have an energy deficit. So you have more energy going out than you have coming in. So that means that if you're training, exercising, trying to change your body composition, or if you have ketones coming in, your body's going to do a better job of muscle retention or sparing that muscle, because it doesn't have to pull amino acids out of the cell to convert it into glucose for energy. That's actually a really awesome side effect. Some of you guys are probably sitting there and going, like, what's cool about that? Well, if you've been training for 30 years, understand how hard it is to preserve muscle or retain muscle when you're hypocaloric or when you're in a state of really hard dieting. It's very, very hard. So it's a very, very awesome side effect. So is anybody here? Everybody get that? If anybody didn't get it, there's no such thing as a stupid question, ever. Because like I said, if you guys don't understand it, I can always explain it in a different way. If you guys are cool, give me 2 thumbs up. All right, awesome. Okay, the other question that you guys might have heard, and this one comes at me quite often, and I think it's really funny, is that, will I get fat drinking ketone? Okay, it's possible. Or, will I gain fat drinking ketones? It's possible, but it's really highly unlikely. There's 7 calories in a gram of BHB. So I don't, how many ketone packs are you drinking a day here? I mean, most likely if you got fatter while drinking ketones, it's not because of ketones. It's probably because in between the ketones, you had Burger King and 10 Big Macs and an apple pie and a chocolate cookie with ice cream on it and a dozen chocolate covered strawberries and some s'mores and a blooming onion and 4 hot dogs and 9 beers and a Diet Coke. So more than likely, all of that happened in between all the ketones. People will say, they'll kind of go back to what I talked about earlier and say that using ketones, because it downregulates glucose metabolism, will make you fat. That's kind of like saying that rubbing honey all over your body will cause you to get eaten by a bear. So, I mean, bears like honey. So clearly, if you cover yourself all in honey, you'll get eaten by a bear. It makes total sense. But really, when you're in an energy surplus or calorie surplus, that's what causes you to get, to gain weight, to get fatter. So it'd be hard for me to accept that somebody got fatter from drinking a drink that has fewer calories in it than a box of Tic Tacs. So we can probably put that theory to rest here. So if someone asks you if you'll gain fat while you drink ketones, just ask them if rubbing honey on their body will get them eaten by a bear. It could, but it's just highly unlikely. Okay, so will ketones help me lose fat? No. Ketones are they're not a fat burner. And here's the thing, a lot of people don't understand. There's actually no proven quote unquote fat burner on the market ever. There's no pill that you can take that burns fat in your body. There's nothing out there over the counter that you can get that actually has ever been proven that burns fat. There's no such thing. So when somebody tells you you have a fat burner, oftentimes what really happens is actually what we get from ketone, but without the bad side effects. So I lost my place. Oh, anyway. So the reason what happens is when you drink ketones, they suppress something called your ghrelin hormone. Your ghrelin hormone is a hormone in your gut, talks to your pituitary gland, tells you you're hungry. So you guys know when you're actually hungry. And when I say, I don't mean like when you're bored, because we all eat when we're bored, but I'm saying when you're hungry. So when your ghrelin hormone rises, talks to your brain and says, I'm hungry, feed me. And then when you eat, okay, after about 15 or 20 minutes, you guys know after about 15, 20 minutes, it takes for your brain actually, or your stomach to signal to your brain that you've eaten. So that's when your ghrelin hormone goes down. So what happens is when you drink ketones, it naturally suppresses your ghrelin hormone. So your appetite stays in check. Okay. Now you combine that with having a really steady, strong energy source for 5 or 6 hours, 4 or 5 or 6 hours, and think about what you're dealing with here, right? So you're not eating as much because you're not hungry and you have a ton of energy. What are you going to do? It comes back to that old adage of you're going to move more and eat less, right? So everybody say move more, eat less. I can see you guys' faces. Say move more, eat less. There we go. Okay, so people are talking now. So what happens when you drink ketones is that the side effect is you tend to move more and eat less. And so now you're going to have an energy deficit. And when you have an energy deficit, fat oxidation is higher and you lose fat. And then it comes back to the other cool part. If you're training, if you're doing weight training, if you're doing anything else, because you're going to be if you're dieting while you're weight training and you're taking ketones, you're going to retain muscle mass at a higher level while you're in a higher state of fat oxidation because you're moving more and eating less. Everybody cool? Okay. That's how ketones help you lose fat, but they don't cause fat burning. You cannot drink ketones and your body just is like, let me burn some fat. That's not going to happen. All right. So ketones promote performance. Now, there's a lot of people that are wondering, they end up hearing me say, how do you use ketones to increase, say, performance, whether it's in the gym or whatever, it could be anything. Swimming, biking, whatever activity you really enjoy doing. So if you're into fasting, then one of the things I recommend people do is that's really good. If you're going to fast and then you're going to train later, is add essential amino acids and creatine in with your ketones. 3.0, it contains leucine. You may not care about this, but leucine. Muscle protein.
No huele a eso, no he quitado la cera. Lo iba a hacer, pero no tengo más. La cera de la clima que afuera. Toda llena de arena. Voy a usar la...
Alexander Adeu, Heather. I don't have the mute. Proceed.
Okay, so what muscle protein synthesis is, and I'll try to keep this basic for you guys, is it is the turnover repair of muscle protein, and that occurs whenever you weight train. Weight training turns it on, and leucine turns it on through a process called mTOR. So muscle protein synthesis is the stimulus in the muscle for, hey, I need to grow. So leucine is something that turns that on. So before you train, a lot of people, they'll take leucine, but I think it's more important to actually have a full spectrum of the 8 essential amino acids, and I'll tell you why. The way that I can explain this so you can remember is leucine is like getting in your car and turning it on and letting it sit in the driveway. That's like turning on mTOR, right? So when you have all 8 essential amino acids, that's like taking your car out of the driveway and going somewhere. So it doesn't do much good to turn on muscle protein synthesis if you can't supply the body with the 8 essential amino acids that it's going to need for growth. So I recommend for people, if you are fasting, you can use the 3.0, which is the chocolate swirl. It's actually the one I use in my coffee every morning, and I don't get hungry. I end up having to force myself to eat about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock maybe. For people who are running a more higher fat paradigm, the 2.1 is really great because it has MCT oil in it. And for what a lot of people like to do is put the keto cream, which does not contain ketones, in their coffee when they get up. And it's got 15 grams of fat in it, which just comes from coconut shortening and MCT oil. So if you're running more of a low carb, but a higher fat paradigm, and that's your lifestyle, that right there gives you, it's like 21 grams of fat for the day, and which is really good. So if you're not running that kind of paradigm and you do eat before you train, what I like to do is tell people is you to kind of let your stomach settle a little bit, so that way you're not full. You don't have food digesting in your stomach because you don't really want that while you're training. So wait until you feel maybe very slightly hungry, and then you can take the max, which I really like a lot before training, about 30 minutes, because it will really light you up. For people who take it for the first time, they generally hit me back up and are like, dude, why did you tell me to take the whole pack the first time? And I actually do that now because it's fun, because they always come back at me and tell me they got really lit up. And my last friend told me, he said, dude, I can see sound right now. So I like to actually go ahead and tell them, give them the full pack, just because it's fun to experiment and get that back from them. But those are the 4 products that are used the most. And you can fit in you can fit in a protein powder with ketones, which honestly is even better than doing, if you're fasting, you go with the essential amino acids. But if you actually, if you really want to increase performance, my suggestion is do something like add in maybe some whey protein with your ketones about 45 minutes before you train, because it's actually been shown whey protein, because it gives you such a complete spectrum of the amino acids, that it does an even better job of increasing muscle protein synthesis. And in post-training, you can do the same thing, because it actually does spike, well, I will say spike, but it bumps insulin, and you need insulin to break down, to cause muscle protein breakdown, which you don't want, okay? So those are kind of the ways that you can fit any of those in. You can mix and match any of those things. Like I said, I honestly believe in going with a lot of protein and a lot of fats in the morning, because carbohydrates tend to flood your serotonin neurotransmitters. So you guys think about it, right? You ever eat a bunch of carbs? What happens to you in about 45 minutes after you eat a bunch of carbs? You get really sleepy, right? Okay, but if you just eat fats and proteins, think about it. Get up in the morning and you eat some eggs and bacon. What do you feel like? You feel alert, right? You feel good, right? Exactly. So, and I don't really eat bacon. I eat filet mignon in the morning. So, but I like bacon. I just don't eat it. But if you go with if you're training, regardless, I tell everybody in the morning, and I actually did learn this from my mentor, Charles Poliquin too, is that if you want your dopamine high, because your dopamine is your go-get neurotransmitter, right? It's your reward. It's your, I'm going to go crush this. So when that's high, you feel like training, you feel good, you have a lot of energy, okay? And then you can save your carbohydrates if you want to use carbs for glycogen resynthesis post-training. You just move your carbs in there because your body turns on something called GLUT4, which you guys will find this very cool, is that even type 2 diabetics respond to carbohydrates from an insulin standpoint, just like every normal person after they lift weights. Now, isn't that awesome? That's an awesome thing about lifting weights. So you can move your carbohydrates into post-training within a couple of hours, have a good meal, have some rice, whatever. You can have Pop-Tarts if you're one of those kind of people. But you can move your carbs into that, and it's pretty much impossible to store them as fat. Keep your fat intake low during that time, during those couple of hours, because it's good to spike your insulin, shuttle those amino acids and those carbohydrates into the cells, which was what will happen post-training. Just don't go crazy and eat 15 Pop-Tarts or a brownie or something. So you just be smart with your nutrition, and those, honestly, that's the ways that you can use the various 4 products. Like I said, the great thing in the morning, go with the keto cream, go with your bacon, go with your eggs. Dopamine is going to be high. You're going to have a lot of energy, okay? You can use, if you're still staying in that low carb, higher fat, higher protein paradigm for eating, you can go with the 2.0 later, which is the orange. You can go with that then, gives you more fat. You can actually move your like a protein shake in with that, okay? And then when you go into training, you can do your training, and then you can move your carbohydrates in post-training to a small window. Believe it or not, I don't believe eating a lot of carbs either. I just don't. I adhere more to feeding my body based on what I feel like I need and what I want. And I really teach people more about an eating lifestyle than a quote-unquote diet, because diets will really shortchange your efforts in the long run, and that's been proven. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, I don't know if there's questions.
No, it's just like, thank you. Bacon. Love the info. Thanks, Paul. Love it. So awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. That was freaking awesome. Somebody says thanks. Awesome. All right, guys. Paul, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us tonight. And of course, he's coming to more. He's got the entire country of Canada rocking right now. He loves this business, and he is crushing it, by the way. I think he signs in about 5 people today. He's always sharing this conversation. So, but with that being said, we're going to transition over how you can share this conversation and maximize our rewards program in this economy for waking up and sharing something that works for you and that you love every day. And with that, my business partner, Selena Travick, is here, and this has been just a pleasure to watch her work herself out of a job, J-O-B. I used to call it her fake job. She's in her real job now. So, and this has brought just a lot of peace and happiness and flexibility and time into her life. And I just have to share, last night, she was supposed to lead a Zoom call, and she texted me, and she was like, my daughter's getting her forensics reward and it's running late. And I just texted her back and I said, no problem. That's why you're here in this business. We got your back, and you go enjoy that daughter and her rewards. And really, that's why a lot of us partake in this business, is because time, flexibility is more important than money, which you will make a lot of here if you get good at sharing the conversation. So you can have both. So with that being, thank you, Selena, for joining us, and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Abigail. Yeah, I never really imagined I would be sitting with this kind of an opportunity. I had dibbled and dabbled in a couple other companies, and Abigail and I go way back. Obviously, we can't tell how tall we are, but she was in the tall category in a figure competing, and I was in the short. stature realm. And so our paths crossed. Little did we know how much we would join together just as a forefront of changing other people's lives. And the minute that she sent this to me, I could not keep my mouth shut. And that is the biggest secret to this, is share your excitement, share your joy, drink the ketones, be a product of the product, and just get out there and start sharing. So I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about how to make money, because in a nutshell, we all want to make more money, right? Who could $200 a month make a difference? Who could $100 make a difference? Who could thousands of dollars make a difference each month? So with this opportunity, I'm going to share some screen shares here. We've got some amazing resources, amazing tools. These were not here when I got started in the very, very beginning. Go Pro and Go MVP are going to be what you really want to search for. But you don't need to know every single little number. You don't need to know every single dollar amount. All you need to know is come in with that experience pack. We have 15% off until midnight tomorrow night, Central Standard Time, for Mother's Day. What better gift to give yourself, to give your mom, to give anybody that you know than an opportunity to feel their best, to gain better in their life, gain better financial, no matter what it is, whatever better is for that person. Come in with that experience pack. This experience pack opens up a world of opportunity. You get that rank 5 pass for an entire year. I will tell you that that makes a huge difference in your income over the next year, unless you're ready to just really hit that ground of running and you're ready to break over rank 5. You're going to get a Go Fast bonus. So that's going to be a 40% bonus versus a 20% bonus. So those are the two main factors with that. But the other thing is, you don't want to open up a store. You don't want to open up a business without having product. You wouldn't open up a restaurant without having any burgers to sell. If it was a burger shop, you would want to have burgers, right? So you don't want to open up a ketone shop without having ketones for yourself and for those that are like, hey, I just really need to taste it. I just really need to try it. So you want to make sure that you come in with this experience pack. With that experience pack, it's normally $9.28 to come in with that. On this sale, it's $7.88. So a lot cheaper. You're going to make even more return back on that because it is 15% off. Now, we do have that MVP reset right now that you can get a whole extra $500 on top of these other bonuses I'm going to talk about if you hit your MVP before the 21st. So there's another $500 on top of what we're looking at right here. So how do we share this? It's the exact same process that the person that shared this with you and got you onto this Zoom did. You pique some interest, pique some curiosity, ask somebody if they know anything about ketones or ketosis. No matter who they are, that question will lead to another conversation. Maybe you haven't talked to somebody in a while. Strike up a conversation. Ask them how they're doing. Most people are going to tell you they're tired. They're going to talk about their job that they hate. They're going to talk about how, oh, it's getting to be summer. They're wanting to start, moving a little bit more. There's always an entryway to strike up that conversation. So we're going to simply just pique that interest. We're going to ask them to watch the campfire video. The biggest thing for me was learning not to be the messenger or not to be the message. I just wanted to be the messenger. I just wanted to be the connector of the resources. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 12 years. I'm also a personal trainer. I've got a lot of brain knowledge. I'm sitting here listening to Paul writing all kinds of notes. I mean, it's just, I love that stuff. But that is not how to share this conversation. Nobody else can duplicate that. It took me a while to realize that. All I need to do is say, hey, watch this 4-minute video. You'll have doctors, you'll have others in the fitness industry that'll say, wow, that made ketosis so simple. So you're going to watch, you're going to connect them with that resource. We have these resources right here that we've done, the Keto 101 tonight, the New Prover 101 that we can connect somebody with. We've got huddle training calls at 11 o'clock. I love the support of that. I love the teaching that goes into that, the simplicity, that reinforcement, that duplication of how simple it is to have a business when you have a product that truly works. The next step is asking for the sale. You enroll. Most people just need to be asked. They just need to be told what to do. So it's as simple as watch, connect, and enroll. By doing that, if you have all of those 200 servings that you buy in your experience pack, You divide that up into 5-day experiences. You sell those for $25. That's $1,000 cash back. So think of that. Today, you're coming in with a $788 pack because of that 15% off. You sell all of those experiences to get those out there, to get people, like Paul was saying, hey, go drink a whole packet of this Max. Let their world light up. Let them experience what those ketones feel like. They're going to be ready to enroll, right? Let the product do the talking for you. So you sell those, you're going to get $1,000 cash back. Now, in that, since you've got the product out there working for you, you're piquing interest by sharing a nice conversation on your Facebook page, not one that you're putting a picture of the product, not one that you're saying, Pruvit, Keto OS, like a big billboard, but one of, man, I feel so good today. I cleaned my entire house today. I've never felt this good. I've never had this big of a smile. Whatever it is that you're feeling from that. Maybe it's that mental clarity and that focus. You felt the light bulbs click on. So whoever is enrolling you, whoever's invited you to this conversation will help you to make that post. So by piquing that curiosity, you've got these experience packs out there for people to sample. They're going to start enrolling. That's going to work you towards your GoPro. Don't wait. We have a Pruvit Facebook page that has tons of information on it. There's a couple Inspire on videos on there that don't just talk about the product, but talk about the better that has occurred through the business, that has occurred through the product itself. Let that be your conversation. So GoPro, first 14 days, you want to have at least 2 customers, and you want to have at least 1,000 in volume. That volume, for an example, if somebody buys an experience pack like what you're going to come in with, you're going to get 650 BV off of it. So if you've got 650 BV coming off of an experience pack, 2 customers coming in with 30 servings apiece, those are each worth 100 BV. That's 850 right there. So then you can either get another promoter or you can get a couple more customers to come up with that total. You're going to get $250 for hitting GoPro. You're going to get $100 in Pruvit bucks for free product that you can put back out into circulation or you can use for yourself. The first 30 days, you want to go ahead and just repeat that. You want to just do that all over again. So you're going to have a total of 2,000 in volume and at least 4 customers. Now you could build this with all customers and no promoters, but who wants to build a business alone, right? We want to have our friends. We want to have family. We want to have other people there along with us. So in your first 30 days, you can earn a total of $750 in just bonus cash. Now, remember, if you hit this MVP before the 21st, midnight the 21st, you can get an additional $500 because you hit MVP, because of the MVP reset. If you missed out on your MVP reset, maybe you're on here, you've been in the company for a while, buy an experience pack and you can run for this too. From here out till the 21st at midnight, you can go for that $500 in that MVP reset. So the next step is going to be the hit all-star. So how do you do that? Become an MVP factory. You're going to bring in 5 people into the business. You have 120 days to do it. You get those 5 people to MVP. You're going to get another $1,000 bonus back. So over here on the right, it shows what you can earn if you come in with the experience pack. You sell those 5-day experiences. You hit your GoPro, you hit your Go MVP. Estimated $2,310. Now remember, you're going to get a little more kickback off of that because it is a sale today. You've got 15% off of that experience pack. If you're a very visual learner, we've got a handout here that goes through. You can write it down. Write down every step, every person that you sign in. The biggest thing is just share your excitement. You don't have to count tons of people. Get plugged in to our Pruvit Facebook page. If you are not on there now, go to the facebook.com/justpruvit and start following, start watching. Anybody that you have the conversation with about ketones, invite them to the Pruvit Facebook page. You'll have the Pruvit Pulse app that you'll need to download on your phone. That's how you're going to stay connected to the team. You're going to know when we have the Keto 101s that you can plug people into when there's questions that you can't answer. And so that you're not the one that's delivering that message. It's also going to let you know when we have our corporate calls. Your cloud, whenever you get enrolled, whenever you get started, the person that brings you in will help walk you through your cloud in your back office. There's tons of downloads there that will show you how to set up your wallet. There's ones that will show you what your BV is. There are other ones that go over all of these GoPro, Go MVP, exactly how you want to get paid. I'll tell you honestly, I kept asking Abigail when I got started, how do I get paid? What are all the price breaks? It really doesn't matter. You just hit GoPro, Go MVP and keep your foot on the gas pedal and keep sharing this conversation. If you really want to know, go look into your back office, look at the reward section and watch everything turn green. Keep turning those bars green. Make sure that you have a call with your leader. Abigail is absolutely amazing at finding out what that is that's got somebody interested in building a business like this. What is their why? Why are they here? She knew I was in a job that was literally sucking the life out of me. She knew that fake job, I needed to get out of it. So she motivated me. She knew when I was struggling how to take me further on that. So to get started, I highly recommend having a little mixer. Who doesn't like to just sit around with friends, giggle, laugh? You can share the campfire video, shake up some ketones, let them try the different flavors, and everybody gets started and enrolls, right? Everybody's got at least 4 or 5 people they can invite that first time. If you've got a big, large network, go for more. Holler at one of us. We'd gladly come and share our experience, share the basics about ketones, and get your business launched that way. Make sure that you've got those 5-day experiences out. Make sure that you're following up with those individuals with their 5-day experiences. So the biggest key of advice is to take action. So remember not to go out there being a slobbering dog all over social media, okay? We want to be kind of a cat. We want people to ask, what is that? I love to not use a shaker bottle. People are done with protein shakes. They're done with all of the other vitamins or whatever else that they're sticking in a shaker cup. I love to put it in a plain glass so that they can see through it. You'll get lots of curious questions. What is that, milk? If it's maybe the 2.0, if it's the orange. Is that coconut? What is that? You know, but share what it is that you're gaining from it. I have a mom that she was a lot happier in the evenings. She wasn't yelling at her kids. She wrote a sincere from the heart post about that. There are a lot of other moms out there that were feeling that same way. They're like, okay, whatever you're drinking, I need it. So remember not to answer those questions on your Facebook page, and whoever's bringing you in will help coach you through this. Getting on those calls will help coach you through this. Make sure that you message them, personally message them when they say, what is this? Don't answer the questions right there. Don't ever put your website right there on your page. We want to be different. We want to truly show that we want to have a relationship with the people that we are bringing in as customers, with the people that we are bringing in as promoters. I feel like I have the biggest family now since I've came in to Pruvit. I mean, this is like, it's my family. It's my community. And I could not be prouder for how we're changing the conversation of one of those MLMs, one of those network marketing, one of that pyramid things. I came from a family that did not believe in one of those pyramid things. They full-heartedly believe because they have seen how much it has transformed my life because of my happiness, my better relationship with my kids, my better relationship with my husband. And I have a job where I truly get to help people. I get to give back to other people. So again, make sure that you keep it simple. Pique curiosity. Connect them with a resource and a tool. If you don't know where those resources and tools are, ask the person who invited you to this conversation. Ask the person who said, hey, lock arms with me and let's go out there and share this ketone conversation with others. Let's share this opportunity with others. And remember to take hold of that MVP reset. If you're brand new, an extra $500 will get you a ticket to your next event or to your first event. Those events will set the pace and set the tone after you hit that MVP to earning your car bonus, to getting a further belief in this business and in this company. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys have an absolutely great rest of your evening. Get out there, rock this conversation. If you haven't bought your experience pack tonight, buy it now and start sharing this 15% off with everybody else that you know. So go, go, go.
Hey, thank you, Selena. And I also want to say happy birthday to Kim Kelly if she's on. It's her birthday today. And happy Mother Day to you and all your beautiful faces and your spouses. Thank you, Selena.